Hello, welcome back to my channel. I should never say welcome back to my channel. Greetings to another video. That's my intro, isn't it? But it's been a while since I've like filmed anything indoors, and it's quite nice to be cozy, not out in some kind of crazy storm or crazy wind. So yeah, reflecting on those trips, because I've done so many fun bikepacking trips this year. I've ridden across the Pyrenees, the Dolomites and some of the French Alps. I thought I would share some things that I learned from those trips and also give you my updated kit list. So if you are planning any trips like this for next year, or you just want a little nosy on what stuff I take, then that's gonna be in this video. First thing that I learned from these trips is that you can have things that go really well and like run smoothly and perfectly like I had in the Pyrenees, or things that go not really to plan like I had in the Dolomites, but they're still really worthwhile experiences and things that I wouldn't take back, because I feel like the things that go wrong, you just learn more from them. And I loved both of them. I didn't love them equally because the Pyrenees was just so magical and amazing. I think it's probably one of the best trips that I've ever done, but I think I learned more from the Dolomites. So they're all good for learning. But going on to that, the second thing that I learned is things can be fixed. And I think a lot of the things that we worry about before we go on these trips, think, oh, what if that happens? What if that happens? I think it's good to have a plan and, you know, obviously have the right tools and kit for those situations. But when things are out of your control, like weather, that you just figure it out. You just find a way to overcome those things when you're out there. And I think that's one of the main things that I learned, because I love a plan. I think it's because I spend so much time planning these trips, so that I always want to go in like the best places and the best spots. Whereas the Dolomites trip just taught me that it's fine. Like if things go wrong or the weather's not good or you're just not really feeling it, then you can just change where you're going, or there's always a way to change what you're doing and it'll be okay. So like, don't stress. Right, third thing, if you're Australian, you're probably gonna be like, what are you talking about? But it would be to under-route yourself. So what I mean by that is I would underestimate the mileage or the distance or the elevation gain that you think you can do in a day, because I think when you're out there, it does change. And I guess when it's day after day, I found it okay, but what I found compared to the Pyrenees to the Dolomites, the Pyrenees I had more downtime, and I was kind of not rushing, well I was rushing less, I just had more time. Even though they were very similar distance and very similar elevation, I think the Pyrenees were slightly less elevation, and like having that extra time not to feel like I was rushing to get to a shop before it shut, which I had on one of the days in the Dolomites, it just made it a lot more like fun and a lot more like chilled out, which I think is really important. So don't go thinking you've got to do these huge distances every day, because you don't. I actually think it's more fun when you do shorter ones, so you can stop at a beach or a cafe or stop to take photos. There was one day in the Pyrenees I sat on this mountain top eating pizza. I was probably up there for an hour and a half, maybe even more than that. I just loved being there, and it was nice weather. I just sat eating my pizza, just having a wonderful time. Whereas I think it was more the weather in the Dolomites, I couldn't do that, but time was a little bit more pressured on that. I think also as well because it was cold and wanted to get back. Anyway, you get my point. The fourth thing is it's okay to be scared and then just go and do it anyway, because I do mention in these videos, and I will reiterate it now, before I do these trips, I do get a little bit scared, and it's like nervous excitement the night before, and definitely the morning of, that I'm going to set off. And I think it's just because, I mean, the Pyrenees trip was the longest one I'd done on my own, and I was a bit kind of like, oh, am I going to be okay? Will it be all right? All the things that you think, oh, what if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? But then you just have to be like, just go and do it, because you'll just figure it out. And I think that it's normal to have like nerves and anxiety and a little bit of like, well, that nervous excitement before you go and do stuff like that, because it is a big thing. But then once you get riding, for me, it takes me probably until about dinner time, like midday on the first day, just to get used to the country that you're in, the side of the road that you're riding on, the shops, the food, your bike, because obviously you've got different weight than you would have when you're at home riding. So it's just that, it just gets you into it. But then as soon as you're on the road, you're fine. It's honestly, I can't really describe it unless you've done it. Let me know if you've done these trips and how you feel the night before. Even like an event, like a race or a sporty, if you always have more nerves the night before, then once you're on it, you're just like, this is fine. So go and book that thing. Go and plan that trip, because you will just love it as soon as you're on it. It seems like a big thing beforehand, but then once you're there, you're like, and I guess this is my whole thing about riding bikes is, it's just riding a bike. No more, no less. Don't stress, just Didn't mean that for that to rhyme. But yeah, it's literally just riding a bike. And then that leads me on to my final point, which is don't take too much with you. Because I had this in the Pyrenees. I took so much stuff. It was ridiculous. My bike weighed an absolute ton and it made climbing like so much more difficult. And I think over the time I've just been able to like really hone in on what I actually need, because I think when you're going away for like 7, 8, 9, 10 days, you think, oh, I need enough stuff for those days. But you don't really. If you're staying in hotels, all you need is enough for that day's ride. So I just kind of view them now as one day rides. So a very quick rundown of the things that I take. So I'm going to show you in like where they are in my bags. So my front bag, which is a Rafa, I don't even know what it's called, just like I really like this bag though. So in that I have all my repair stuff, so things I can get out quickly. So I've got my pump, which is a Topeak Race Rocket. I've got the Hexus multi-tool, which has got a chain breaker and tyre levers on it. I love the tyre levers on that. I've got 2 replacement inner tubes. I've got a little bag which has got replacement patches. It's got 2 sets of speed links. It's also got a tiny little bit of squirt chain lube, and it's also got a rear mech hanger replacement just in case mine gets bent or broken. I've also got in the front of that a lip balm and a hand sanitizer. My top tube bag, which is a Restrap, I can't remember the name of it. I think it's called also a race something. I'll leave a link to that below. I'll just literally have snacks and food in that. That's all I have, and potentially a cable and a charging pack in case I need to charge my phone when I'm out. But that's pretty much everything. And then in my rear saddle bag, which is an Apidura 7-litre race pack, this bag is amazing. The durability of it, it looks still brand new, and I've had it probably 6 years and it's been in some awful weather and storms and heat. It's just lasted so well. So in that I have 2 coats. So I've got one for warmth, which is my Patagonia micro puff hoodie. You know I'm such a big fan of this coat. I love this coat so much. It's like putting a little lovely warm sleeping bag on. So that's the jacket. It's synthetic, so it doesn't matter if it gets wet. And then I have my rain jacket, which you've seen has been put to use many times on these trips. And that is a Gore-Tex Shape Dry. I think the one I've got is a running one. I'll try and find it online, but I know that they've stopped selling them. Love that jacket. In terms of toiletries, I take a little thing of shampoo, which you could get away with not taking because they have them in all the hotels. Face wash, some factor 50, like sun cream, toothbrush, toothpaste, chamois cream, which is a slipstream, and then also a tiny little pot of Tiger Balm, the blue one, which is the cooling one, which is what I put on my bites. I should have taken more of that because obviously when I was in the Alps, I definitely needed it from all the bites that I got. And then electrical, I've got a GoPro on the front, I've got a GoPro in the top tube of on the top tube bag, and then I also take the DJI Osmo Pocket. I didn't even really use it, to be honest, so I could have probably not taken that. And then I've also got just cables, so I've got USB-C, I think I've got 2 of those, and 1 regular one which charges my lights. The lights that I've got are the Exposure, Trace and Trace Art. They're amazing. They're so small, so light, really powerful, great battery on them. Oh, breathe. And I think that's everything that I take. Try to think if there's anything else. There is something else. I've just remembered. In my front bag, in my little bag with all the speed links and stuff, I put ibuprofen, paracetamol and some antihistamines, and they did come in handy, so I need to replace those. Always take those. It's just so much easier. I think I've also got some decongestants that I just get from the supermarket, just because it's so easy just to have them. They're so small and light. But then if you're away in the middle of nowhere and you need them, it's going to be really difficult to find. So they're the main things. Yeah, I think that's everything. So thank you so much for watching. And I also want to say thank you so much for like all your lovely comments on Strava, Instagram and those videos, because I've just loved doing those trips, and I think that's where I want to take my channel next year, just do way more of those, because I love exploring and I just love sharing them with you. It's my favourite thing to do. So I would love your recommendations of where you would want to see me ride and where you want to see me explore doing the Ride Across series. And I think that is pretty much everything. If you've got any questions, as always, leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye! Also, who wants to see me do a Ride Across series with Juliet? I think it would just be amazing if she gets all the bikes prepped before we go, because I'm not going to be doing no shortcuts on those rides. But maybe we will. Who knows? Okay. Also, I love those videos in mine with Juliet. She is so much fun. Love it. Okay, goodbye. I'm off to yoga now. I'm getting on my my winter training. Actually, I will do a video about this because I'm going to do like my training, the things that I do in winter changes quite a lot from what I do in summer. I'll be doing gym, I'm doing running, I'm going to be doing yoga. So if you want a video on any of those, let me know. I'm going to get ready for yoga now. Okay, goodbye.